So welcome to the second lesson of indices. In today's class, we are going to demonstrate the remaining part of the laws of indices. In our last class, we treated the first three laws of indices with their relevant possible examples. So we are going to do the same today. Let's get started. So we'll be starting with negative index law. This law emphasizes the negative sign flips the base to a fraction and it does not make the answer negative. Now what this law is saying is that if you have a raised to the power of minus n, it will be equals to this minus become 1 over a raised to the power of n. That is, if you look at the possible examples here, number 1, when we have 5 raised to the power of minus 1, this will simply be 1 over 5 raised to the power of 1. Now this 1 here is what we are seeing here. Why this negative number here is the 1 here. So automatically this will become 1 over 5. Now for number 2, we have a 5 raised to the power of minus 2. And this will be equals to, this negative number will become 1 over 5 raised to the power 2. Automatically this will become 1 over 25 because 5 raised to the power of 2 will give us 25. So if you check number 3, the same thing. So 5 raised to the power minus 3 will become, this minus will become 1 over 5 raised to the power 3. And this will be equals to 1 over 120. So if we consider the number 4, number 4 is another law of its own, but it's similar to this. It's the same thing. The only thing is that it has a fractional base. So what you do in this case, you flip the base so that 5 over 10 raised to the power of minus 2 will now become 10 over 5 raised to the power of 2. So by flipping the base, the minus disappeared. So what you now have will become 10 raised to the power 2 over 5 raised to the power of 2. Of course, because of the bracket, everything inside the bracket will be affected by everything outside the bracket. So this will now become 100 over 25. Of course, you know that 100 over 25 will give us 4 as the final answer. So we are going to consider the next law of indices. Now this law is called fractional index law. So the index is fractional. That means the power of a this time. This law states that the denominator and the power, look at it here, if you have a raised to the power of m over n, it will be equals to, this n now become the nth root of a raised to the power of m. It's simple, nth root. So you put the n inside the bracket sign. So an n can be any number. It can be 2. If it's 2, there is no need. But anything from 3, 4, 5 and above, you can put them inside the bracket. Take a look at this number 1. In number 1, we have a 125 raised to the power of 2 over 3. So this will now become the cube root of 125 raised to the power of 2. And the cube root of 125 is 5. Then raised to the power of 2. So finally the answer will be what? 25. It's as simple as that. But it is not compulsory you must work it out this way. You can also do it like this as well. You can write number 1 like this. 125 raised to the power of 2 over 3 can also be written as, this 125 means 5 times 5 times 5 into 3 places. So you can write 5 raised to the power 3 as 125 times 2 over 3. So that this 3 cancel out this 3 here. So what we now have here is, and if 3 cancel out 3, you get 1. So 1 times 2 now will give you 2. So we now have 5 raised to the power of 2. Eventually our final answer will be 5 raised to the power 2 give us what? 25. It's as simple as that. In our number 2 is the same thing, just that this time around we have negative. We just want to show you how it's done. So we have 125 25 again raised to power of minus 2 over 3. Of course, this is the same thing as 5 raised to power 3 times minus 2 over 3. So this 3 cancel out this 3. So we now have 5 raised to power of minus 2. As usual, this will become 1 over 5 raised to power 2, and this will be 1 over 25 as the final answer. So if we consider number 3, when we have 125 over 1000 raised to power of 2 over 3, so this will be equal to, this is the same thing as 5 raised to power 3, and this also is the same thing as 10 raised to power 3. All of them times, so it will now raise to power of 2 over 3. So of course, this is the same thing as 5 over 10 raised to power of 3 times 2 over 3. As usual now, this 3 cancel out this 3. So we are now left with 1. 2 times 1 will give us 2. So we now have 5 over 10 raised to power of what? 2. And 5 raised to power 2 will give us 25. And 10 raised to power 2 will give us what? 100. 25 can go into 25. That will give us 1. And 25 can go into 100 to give us 4. So this is the final answer here. Let's consider the last law of indices in this class. Here we have a product index law. Note that the power in the bracket multiply the power outside the bracket. So we have done a lot concerning this law even as we progress down, but to include it in this class. So this law states that if you have, for example, you have a raised to power of m inside the bracket and there is another n outside the bracket, so this m inside the bracket will multiply n outside the bracket. So that's what this law is saying, meaning that, look at this number 1. If you have 4 raised to power of 3 and there is a bracket covering it, and outside the bracket you have 5, so this will be equal to 4 raised to power of 3 times 5, and this will give us 4 raised to power of what? 15, and that is all. Now it is not all the time you evaluate everything. When the power is higher, depending on the base, anything from 3 4 depend on the base. If the base is large like this one now, 15 is too big for you to evaluate it, so you leave your final answer like this. So for number 2, we have a 3 raised to power minus 2 inside the bracket raised to power 7. So this will be equals to a 3 raised to power minus 2 times 7. And finally, this will give us 3 raised to power of minus 14. So the final answer here will be 1 over 3 raised to power of 14. So that is the way it is. Lastly, we have 4 raised to power of minus 3 in bracket raised to power of minus 2. So this will be equals to minus 3 times minus 2. Always put it in bracket in a situation when you are using calculator. So this will be equal to 4 raised to the power of minus 3 times minus 2 will give you 6. And that is the final answer. Thank you for being part of this class. Please don't forget to check the exercise.